Welcome back to Tom Cheddar Sports. My name is Brett. I'm here with Victor.
Thank you for having me.
For this NHL Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes, so we're going to talk some hockey. Talk bad hockey. Preseason has started, which has been phenomenal. I watched multiple games last night. I plan to watch more tonight. It's a beautiful time of year. Preseason started, and we're excited. We are under a month. We are honestly just a couple weeks away from the start of the regular season. And with that, some restricted free agents are finally getting signed, Victor.
Yeah, and it's about time.
It's about time.
We're getting pretty close. So
you don't want to miss preseason or training camp. Can really set you back.
Yeah, we saw that with Nylander.
Right, saw that with Nylander. So I haven't talked about many of these, but since the last video, there were, I guess, 4 or 5 big names that finally got signed. So first off, starting it off was Ivan Provorov, the Flyers. They lock him up and Travis Konecny both. I really like the Konecny contract. I think it was really team-friendly for them. The Provorov one was not as team-friendly, in my opinion.
Right,
but still a good contract because obviously he's a very talented player. So
trying to lock up their young players.
Right.
They got one team-friendly, kind of balanced out a little bit. So.
Right. So good on the Flyers. 2 huge pieces for them, both this year and in the future, as they are a fringe playoff team, as I mentioned. Another one, Mitch Marner, probably the biggest name restricted free agent that's out there, aside from maybe Braden Point. You could argue. Mitch Marner gets paid.
Yeah.
He got paid. So I believe it was 6 years and about 10.7 something per.
Yeah,
I think something like that.
10.89.
I didn't write down the exact numbers, but yeah, it was absurd.
He
but
basically went. I saw what Matthews got, and I want that.
Right. And he's well deserved that
big
money.
Contract.
Not quite that much, though. Now, the salary cap obviously does increase each year, so, we're gonna start... This is gonna be the norm for superstar players now, getting up in the, 10, 11 million per figures. So I'm okay with that part of it. But, yeah, given that team's current situation... But the Leafs obviously finagled it. It's a lot in the signing bonuses and...
only about $750K.
Performance-based money, whatever. So, yes, he's getting paid 10 point whatever million. Not a lot of that's on the cap, as Victor just said. They really spaced that out, so they can handle it. But well done on the Leafs, obviously bringing him in as they try to win a cup.
Yeah,
which they won't
to this day.
But they're gonna try.
You need those pieces if you're going to win the cup, though. So
yeah,
they're taking one more step towards it.
And then another one was Brock Besser. Just a couple days ago, signs with the Canucks. He gets 5.8, I believe, per. Maybe a little less than that.
Yeah.
Just under $6 million per for him. And he signed just a 3-year deal, which I found interesting. I like it for both him and the Canucks. But I found it interesting. It was only 3 years. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm looking at more as they wanted to bring him back. They didn't necessarily want to take time into the season, so maybe this was a middle ground bridge deal almost for
That's
them.
what it feels like. They ate up, obviously, his restricted free agent year, and then I believe 2 of his unrestricted contract years.
So I don't know if this was necessarily the first choice for either party, but they came to terms on it.
And he'll just be 25 years old now when this deal does end, so he set himself up in line for that.
Prime years.
Your massive contract for your career. So I like it for both parties. And if he for some reason falls off a bit, it's only 3 years. The Canucks can live with that. So I like it for both sides. But that was surprising to me. And then the last restricted free agent, I believe, to sign since we last talked is Charlie McAvoy, who very team friendly as well for the Boston Bruins.
So much of their team is set up.
Their GM of the year, he's won it twice, I believe. Their GM, he continues to work magic, just locking up their guys on such nice contracts, keeping the core intact too. How many? I mean, it's been the same Bruins team for years,
and they believe they can make another cup run,
and they can.
This is helping do that.
They can, absolutely. So
everybody's
really
all in on winning there.
Really good on that. And so, I think now that we're starting to see the restricted free agent signing, obviously it's already kind of had a ripple effect as more and more each day. Because now teams, so some of the big names are still not signed. Patrick Laine, Mikko Rantanen, Matthew Tkachuk, Braden Point, Kyle Connor.
There's still a lot out there.
There's a few others. Sorry if I don't remember and don't name your team's restricted free agent. I know there's more good ones. But this kind of now, you look at these contracts that these guys have gotten, you can compare Marner and Besser, the defensemen. It's really kind of setting a market here. And so I think we will see the rest of these guys kind of slowly start to sign as well. I think it's just going to continue. I think they'll all get signed soon because, like I said, now the players and the GMs kind of can gauge, I guess, what their worth is a little better based on these other contracts. So I hope every restricted free agent out there can re-sign with their teams.
Hopefully before the season, too.
I want to see all of these guys I just named playing this year. I don't want to see anybody sitting out. So, because that just sucks. It sucks for the league. It sucks for the fans. It sucks for the teams. So
it sucks for the players.
It sucks for the player, really.
Nobody wins. Nobody wins.
The other thing is, with the NHL, obviously, you never really see holdouts like you do in the NFL. Guys want to play. They'll give in and just play. Even if it's a 1-year deal, work on it next year. They're going to play. So I don't expect any of these guys being out longer than like a month of the season.
Okay.
We're not going to get a Le'Veon
Come
Bell
November,
situation.
everybody will be back.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good to see.
You just don't see that. That's it for the news part. So now to the main part of the video and what we've been doing for... God, I've been doing this for months now. We are in the Central Division, the last division we're going to cover. We're doing 2 more teams today. We'll finish up with the last 2 next week, and then we'll be pretty much at the start of the season. So we'll just do weekly kind of season recaps, I guess. So today we're going to be talking about the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. We'll start with the Jets. They finished second in the division last year. I have them as trending down. Weird offseason for the Jets. Obviously they lost Trouba. Obviously they lost some other pieces too. They still haven't signed everyone, but we're not going to look at really what they lost. The pieces they did bring in, they bring in Gabriel Bork and Mark Letestu, 2 kind of third line, fourth line players. They're very capable players. I like the signings. They're not going to be anybody that puts you over the top and makes you much better. But you need guys like that on your team.
Do you think it'll help them have a capable third line more, though? Like,
I think so.
As we see on many cup run teams,
you need 4 lines.
Yeah, exactly.
And that will help there. And then defensively, they bring in Nathan Beaulieu. Obviously, a downgrade from Trouba. But I've always liked Beaulieu, but I don't know. Obviously, a downgrade there. So I have them as trending down. I think they outplayed themselves a little bit last year, and I just don't see it. They lost too much, I think, and they're having cap issues, and I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. This is still assuming, my predictions are assuming everybody's re-signed, so they still have Laine and Connor in this situation. But I do have the Jets finishing 4th in the division this year. Still a playoff team, but obviously not second. One of the first wild card team. Next up, Colorado Avalanche. They finished 5th last year. I have them finishing 2nd this year. Here's why. I have them trending up, obviously. So literally the only part of this team that concerns me is their goaltending. They lost Semyon Varlamov in free agency, so really it's just Philip Grubauer's show. I like Philip Grubauer. I'm not sure if he's ready to really... I don't think he's an elite goalie. I think he's a capable starter, an average starter. I think he'll be decent. I don't think he'll be great. I think he'll be what ultimately holds them back from winning this division, which is why I still have Nashville winning the division.
Nashville.
But my God, did they bring in a lot of pieces. Not only did they have a high draft pick who's going to make an immediate impact, but they bring in Valtteri Nichushkin, very solid free agent there. They get him from Dallas, a divisional rival. Nichushkin will probably slot in the third line, again, bringing that depth we just talked about that the Jets are hoping to have. Jason Megna they sign, ex-Penguin, I'm sure you're familiar. We like him because he was a good little player for the Pens. He'll probably be in the AHL most of the year, but he's a nice guy to have in case of injuries.
Yeah.
Nazem Kadri, they acquire in a trade. This was An interesting move for me. They basically replace him for Carl Soderberg. I like Carl Soderberg better as a player than Kadri, but Kadri brings a little more grit and a little more defensive-minded than Soderberg. So you lose a little bit of offense, but gain some defensive help there, which is ultimately what the Avs need. They don't need a ton of offensive help.
Yeah, no, they have a lot of offense, so maybe that grindy player can spark some morale here and there.
So I'm okay with it. And I mean, I think ultimately that'll be fine. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, they get from the Knights. He'll slot in nicely on the fourth line, just in a solid fourth liner. Nothing more than that. Colin Wilson, they sign. They bring in Colin Wilson on a 1-year deal, I believe, which I really like as well for their third line. You're now putting the Chuskin, Wilson, maybe Kadri is your third line. That's a very solid 2-way third line. And then Jonas Donskoy they get from the Sharks on a 4-year deal. Another great little player, probably fit in their top 6.
Big on Donskoy.
So really love all that the Avalanche have brought in. They did all of this while still maintaining. They still have a lot of cap room. This team's scary. They're young, and they have depth. Like they now have the perfect mix of veterans. You're still gonna have Rantanen, Landeskog, McKinnon on the top line for years to come.
Yeah.
Like I said, literally, Cal McCarr will be in his first full season on defense.
I'm very excited to see him.
Literally, the only part of this team that concerns me is their goaltending.
Then, going off that, do you see them as you have them a playoff team?
Yes.
Obviously.
Second
as they get
Central.
Down the stretch, do you have them making a move for a goalie towards the end, just for that playoff depth?
I could see it. I could see it. I'm not sure really what goalies will be available. It's tough to say right now before the season started, but I could definitely see them making a move for the goalie. Because this is a team also in a position they could give up draft picks now to add to this team.
Yeah,
they have their young guys, they have their future, they have their core. They can afford to move some draft picks and go in win now mode, and I think they might. We'll see how the season shakes out, but I really like the Avs, and I have them going very deep in the playoffs as well this year. Really high on the Avs this year. Team to look out for. Anything else from you?
No.
I think that'll wrap it up. This was a longer video because of all the news in the beginning. So leave a like, leave a comment, smash that subscribe button. Let us know what you think the Avs and the Jets will do this year. Let us know how wrong we are, per usual. And next week we will finish up with the reigning champion St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks.
Exciting teams to talk about.
Yeah, we'll give the season previews for those. And tomorrow, this guy's gonna have some NFL for you.
Heck yeah, we will.